Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining Redington and mobile session. Today topic is on managing MobileIron, managing remote devices, accessing corporate data, and we have Mohan Kumar, the pre-sales consultant in Redington Value, who will be running throughout this session. Mohan, before we proceed, let me please mention this point that you can post all your queries on the Q&A button on the left, and at the end of the session, Mohan will answer all your queries. Mohan, over to you.
Thank you, Ragda. Thank you for joining today's session. Today we're gonna see how we're gonna manage remote devices used to access the corporate data. So MobileIron, it's a UEM vendor, and they are mainly into managing not only the user devices but also to ensure how the users are accessing their corporate data. So here we are talking about three main operating systems, mainly iOS, Android, and Windows. Okay, so with MobileIron, we have a single pane of glass, means single dashboard for accessing or managing the policies configuration application for various operating system across mobile devices. And traditionally, people connect their infrastructure using their laptop with a conventional VPN, client-side VPN. And now, like, not only the users are moved to the mobile devices, even the companies also, they have moved into the cloud resources. So with MobileIron, we can have the user access control, whether they are trying to access their on-prem or whether they are trying to access their cloud. So MobileIron, they have more than 15,000 devices in the market and more than 500 plus and more than 2,000 global customers. They are almost leader in the quadrant for 7 years, and they have 53 patents on their name. And these are the various standard certifications they are currently supporting: FedRAMP, FIPS 140, Common Criteria, SOC 2 Type 2, and UC, EU Privacy Shield. So, like I said, now when not only the user moving to the mobile devices, infra also it's moving to the cloud. So, MobileIron is having policies, access control for both the infra resources as well as the cloud resources. Let's see how it does. So this is the high level architecture of MobileIron. We basically have two servers in the DMC. One is the UEM console and other is the Sentry. UEM console is the heart of the solution where it is used to manage devices, users, policies, configuration, application, and everything. Sentry is just a gateway. Once the device is registered or device is managed, Sentry will give a secure access to the backend resources. When I say backend resources, it might be the Exchange server or even a in-house application or even a local file share or SharePoint. Okay, and Bridge is a platform which is used within the UEM console to manage Windows 10 devices. This UEM console can be an on-prem server or it can be a cloud instance. And Sentry, it's an on-prem server which sits on the DMC. And if you notice, MobileIron Access, it's again a cloud service which is used to control access for the cloud resources like Salesforce, Office 365, Dropbox, or any file share in the cloud. So on the left, these are all the various applications from MobileIron. We'll see one by one in the coming slide. The first one being the EM client or the agent, which is responsible for getting the policies configuration from the EM console and make sure the device is compliant. So that whatever access provided by Sentry, it will give or give authorize to the user to access the resources behind. And apart from this, there is something called MobileIron Threat Defense. MobileIron Threat Defense basically protects from various attacks like network level attacks or device configuration changes on the device. And whenever the device is onboarded or registered using MobileIron, a logical container is created and all application push through MobileIron will be placed inside this container. The reason is whatever happens inside a container stays inside the container. For an example, you can have DLP. Any content or any attachment within this application cannot be moved outside the container. So they cannot move any data or any content outside the to their personal apps. Or in other way, if the device is having a malicious app installed and that app is trying to read data from all apps installed on the same device, it cannot reach any data which is inside the container. So the container is encrypted. So any app which is trying to read any data out of the container, it is not possible. So this is the high level architecture. If you have any questions, you can post it in the Q&A session. At the end of the session, we'll try to answer the same. So this is the various application: email plus, docs at work, web at work, and help at work. We'll see one by one. And before that, whenever a user or device is getting registered, so this is a customized terms of service which can be presented for the user. And this is customizable. So the admin can put their own content, their own logos, and they can make their user to accept the customized terms of services. Apart from this, since we are putting something on the user own devices, the user always have the consent what company is trying to access or what kind of action the company can take. So this is something which is not editable by even the admin. So this will be presented for the user. So the user can see what personal details, what details from the mobile has been accessed by the company. So the personal, this is ensuring personal data remains private, like personal email, text messages, contacts, photos, videos, and voicemail. And what company can access, it will also show, and what kind of action the company take, that will also be visible for the user. So there is something called space. Space, it's like a admin delegation. For an example, if we have a couple of branches, head office being in Saudi Arabia and branch office in Qatar or Bahrain, you can have one space created for Qatar and one space created for Bahrain. And for an example, if you have HR and marketing team common for all the region, so you can have one space created for the same. So each space will have their own admin, and each space within, they'll have their own list of users, and they'll have list of configurations and everything. And apart from all these spaces, they have a global space, and there will be a global admin to it, which will have access to all the spaces. And within each spaces, they can integrate with their own local Active Directory, and they can create policies, procedures based on their LDAP groups. AppConnect, it's a terminology used by MobileIron. So when I say app is AppConnect, by default, whatever the application which I showed, the email plus, docs at work, web at work, are all AppConnect enabled. So when I say AppConnect enabled, we'll have these features listed. You have selective wipe. So selective wipe is something like we can set a number of compliance policies, saying if the device is not compliant, if the device is not connecting to the UM console for a number of days, or the device is having a blacklisted app installed, or if the device is jailbroken or rooted. So selective app will remove whatever the application pushed by MobileIron, whether it is email app or docs at work app or any app pushed by MobileIron, it will be removed. It will be deleted. And based on the user authentication device posture, it can enable to authenticate the particular app, and you can have a separate authentication for the particular app. And you can have a per app VPN if that particular app is connected to a backend resources. For an example, Email Plus will connect to your on-prem Exchange server. We can have a per app VPN connecting to that. So by default, MobileIron, like I mentioned, it is AppConnect enabled, and there is, if company is having an in-house app developed, so we can also make that in-house app developed as an AppConnect enabled app by following the process. So once there are a couple of tools available within MobileIron, whether it is an online tool or offline tool. So they'll have to wrap the app, and they'll have to resign using the developer credential, and they can distribute using Enterprise App Store. I will show what is Enterprise App Store in the next coming slides. And the device, it can be assigned to the particular user group or devices, and they can able to install it, or you can silently push the app. So with a normal application with AppConnect enabled, they'll have these features. You can have control on copy paste, you can have control on open end, and you can also have a secure passcode for opening that particular application. and you can block screen in case of Android, and you can print in case of iOS. So these features you will get only if the app is AppConnect enabled. So what is the difference? So AppConnect can be only enabled for in-house developed application. It cannot be enabled for publicly available applications or third-party applications like WhatsApp, Facebook, or LinkedIn. So those are the apps which is already available in their native app stores like Google Play or iOS App Store. Those applications we cannot enable AppConnect. So only the reason behind is only the in-house application we can able to resign it. Third party app we cannot, they won't allow us to resign the application, and we don't own that application. So that is the main reason for that. So this is the dashboard for on-prem core. You can see the devices by status, compliance, devices OS types, and device ownership. I'll show you a short demo after end of the slides. Apps at Work, it's an enterprise app store where the user can publish their internal or in-house developed apps, whether it is AppConnect enabled, wrapped app, or unwrapped app, or they can also push applications from their respective app stores, from iTunes, Google Play, or even Windows. And like I said, in-house application. So this is how it looks, and it has, you can have your own feature app listed, you can have your own category created, and you can let the user put their own ratings and reviews for those applications. And you can always have a role-based app. For an example, you can have set of application pushed only for HR department and set of application pushed only for IT department or marketing department. And it is customizable. You can put your own logo for the app icon, you can put your own background color, you can put your own header information, and this is how it looks in iOS, Android, and Windows. Docs at Work. Docs at Work actually serves two purposes. For iOS, iOS has a native capability to open any type of attachment in the email. If email plus is configured, any attachment received, for an example, PDF or Microsoft Office Word, iOS has a native capability to open. It doesn't need any third-party reader or document viewer. But Android, it's not the case. You either need to have a third-party document viewer to open any attachment. So this serves one purpose. The other purpose is to connect to the backend resources. It might be a SharePoint local file share server, or it might be a cloud file share like SharePoint, Box, Dropbox, or OneDrive. Web at Work, it's again a secure browser from MobileIron, and since it's AppConnect enabled, we'll get all DLP features and AppConnect features. So we can have per app VPN tunnel, we can have role-based content, and it supports the native web technologies. So you can have your own passcode for opening Web at Work, and you can have data encryption and posture-based wipe. Like if the device is not compliant, you can remove the user accessing the Web at Work to access their internal resources. And you'll also have control over this copy email or message link. If any URL or any website having any email link, it will be, it can be opened only within the Containerization app. For an example, if email plus has been used, so any email link, only the email plus app will open. The native email cannot be opened through that. So meaning anything happening within the container stays within the container. And like I said, based on complaints, you can put the policies. If the device is jailbroken, or blacklisted app is installed, or device is out of contact, or someone try to remove the data protection, then you can block access to the Web at Work. So if a customer doesn't want to use Web at Work, they want to use the native Safari browser or Chrome browser, you can still do that. But the only thing they'll miss is the DLP features. So they won't have the DLP features for the Safari or Chrome, but they still can access their internal resources using the tunnel. So tunnel is mainly used for third-party application like Safari or even Outlook app or even a native email app. Okay, so since the tunnel is from MobileIron, it supports it's an AppConnect app. So you can also have the URL whitelisting, blacklisting. You can have device posture based wipe, selective wipe. So if the device is not compliant, you can block access to the tunnel. So for an example, if the device is complaint or if the device is having any blacklisted app, the tunnel won't get established, so the user cannot able to access the backend resources. So that is how you are making, you're securing the corporate access by the user from remote places. And the next one is the Email Plus. Email Plus, it's like a native like email app which has the TLP features like any other AppConnect apps. And you can have your own email contacts, calendar, tasks, and within email plus app. And you have a separate application passcode, independent encryption, and you'll have the DLP block copy and paste. So like I mentioned, MobileIron tunnel, it's mainly used for the third-party application. So it will be having a perhaps VPN capability. So you might have couple of Windows developed app or even a public application, for an example, Outlook app or a Microsoft Power BI or even any public app which requires to access your internal resources, you can make use of tunnel. And each application might require a different set of network configuration. So that can be enforced on or put it in the Sentry part where each application when opened, the particular VPN will be triggered and it will connect to the particular backend server. So you will have a finer granular control on which app to use which network configuration to reach which backend server. MobileIron Bridge, like I said, MobileIron Bridge, it's mainly used to manage Windows 10 devices. So Bridge is a platform used to push group policies or any PowerShell scripts or executables to be installed on the Windows 10 device. So if you know, before that, MobileIron Threat Defense, we have a separate session for MobileIron Threat Defense where I'll show a small demo how it works. So here briefly, it mainly protects from three type of attacks. One is device configuration and network level attacks and silent device attacks. Network level, it's like when a device is trying to connect to an insecure Wi-Fi, the MTD won't even allow to connect to that particular Wi-Fi, or when someone try to sideload an application using a profile. For an example, in this region, many people use VPN to access blog sites or to make WhatsApp call or something like that. In order to have this VPN, there has to be a profile installed. And if this profile tend to be malicious, MobileIron Threat Defense won't even allow the user to install it. If it is a user-owned device, if they are installing the profile, they cannot access the corporate data. So there are a couple of actions can be taken on that, whether they can isolate the device or they can block access to the corporate resources, or you can push a network sync code. So if someone try to install this profile, there will be a VPN automatically triggered, and that VPN connects to a null value. So once the VPN is connected to a null value, and there is a settings where the user cannot even turn it off. So the device won't even reach any networks, whether internet or even the local network. So and if for silent device attack, like for an example in mobile devices, for an example in the WhatsApp, you have an option to save any photos or videos received. It automatically saved in your camera roll or in a gallery. So imagine if that particular video file or image file has a malicious script or coding written. So upon saving on your gallery, it executes. The moment it executes, whoever sends you with the intention of gaining control over your device will get it. So the moment with MobileIron Threat Defense, the moment it's trying to execute and does something on which is not supposed to do, the entity will act upon and it will remediate there itself. With MobileIron Threat Defense, you have a big advantage, like it's a single app. So it is integrated with the same UEM client app, and all remediation action happens on the device. It doesn't need to connect to any third-party cloud or code to check what remediation action to be performed. Everything happens on the device, and that too offline. Okay, so Windows 10. So Windows 10 nowadays, with MobileIron, you can deploy over the air. For an example, when a new employee joins and you want to give him access to your corporate Wi-Fi and install certain application, give access to those application, and make sure the security policies are applied. Everything can happen remotely. So all they have to do is they'll have to provision the user have to log in using the credential, and the configuration will be pushed and made sure. And it also check whether the device is compliant with security policy. For example, you can enforce the password complexity through MobileIron itself. So if the password complexity is not met, it won't allow them to register or proceed. And after that, it will push whatever the basic or necessary application for their user based on their role or based on their group, and the device is kept for monitoring and compliance purpose. So once a employee leaves or put an end of life to the device, you can either do a selective wipe or you can totally wipe down the laptop. So this is it, and with MobileIron, we are making sure like the data is always secured even at the rest or even in the motion, or securing the cloud services. So this is my presentation, and I can go for a short demo. If there is no questions, then if you want more information or any queries, you can always reach us. So yeah, thank you for joining today's session. Thank you. Have a nice day and stay safe.